every major city in the world. I think that would be a great goal to have. And I think it's okay for now that we have this problem of not having enough Drupal people. I think it's part of the phase that we're in, probably, but I think we need to figure out how to, get many more Drupal people pretty soon. I think we're, approaching that point where if we can't find the people, we'll lose a lot of the momentum behind Drupal. So I think we need to talk and think about that as well this week. Maybe universities will be teaching Drupal. Personally, I think this is a difficult one because universities typically teach like concepts and algorithms, don't necessarily teach products or specific solutions like Drupal would be. But it would still be nice if we could figure out a way for more universities to talk about Drupal and to get those students up and running. There is an interesting one. In 2020, Drupal certifications will be showing up on resumes. And we talked about this a lot. But I think it's a matter of time. I don't think it's something that we can prevent. If we're gonna grow by a factor of 10, there's gonna be people, companies, organizations doing Drupal certifications because other companies are going to require it. And if other companies require it, other companies can make money doing certifications. So I don't know what it will look like. Maybe it's certified to rock, a couple of versions, with more features and stuff, or maybe it's something else, maybe it's many different things, but I think we should be prepared for a world that has certifications. And I think certifications are oftentimes a bad thing, but there's also examples of where it's a good thing. I think Cisco, which I mentioned here, is a good example. They're high quality certifications, and it actually means something. So I think if you know it's going to happen and it's unstoppable, which I think it is, we better think about how we do it well as a community. So here's a feature one. I think in 2020, managing rich media like video and images will be as easy as managing text. Right now it's barely possible to manage rich media in Drupal, and I think it will become possible, but we should also try to make it as easy. And that's important if you look at how the web evolves, and this is a screenshot from a recent article by Wired, but just look at the amount of video stuff going on the web, and that's true for other things as well. So we need to really get Drupal to that point, or otherwise we might miss out. I think we also need a Drupal that delivers content to multiple devices, and we've already begun making changes to help make that possible. But if you look at what's happening with the iPhone, with the Android, it's pretty clear that the future, or a big part of the future, is this app-driven future, if you will. And I think we need to figure out ways to tap into those worlds and to be a better player there. And I think it can be done with Drupal. It can be done today, but it's still a little bit of work. Drupal is not known to be the easiest and most obvious tool to use in order to build mobile applications, for example. I also think there's no reason that Drupal couldn't run on multiple devices. Like, for example, I'm always annoyed when I configure my wireless modem because of the web app in there is it's so ugly. There's no usability, nothing. So why wouldn't Drupal be able to replace that, right? Why wouldn't we try to do that? I think that would be great. That would be great. I think there's also going to be more integration. It's definitely a trend when I talk to people. A lot of people want to integrate Drupal with whatever new system, as well as whatever old system they have, legacy systems and stuff like that. So it's something that we need to get better at. I hope that we will get there. And I've sort of repeated all of the previous slides before, and it's one reason why I've been championing sort of OpenID, why I've been championing the semantic web and RDFA, all of those things, because I think the future really is going to be all about interoperability. Interoperability between sites, interoperability between different devices, between people, between data, all of those things. And I think Drupal can be at the center of that, but it does require us to evolve some of the technology and the architecture. I think we have a great architecture already to help make that possible, but there is more that we need to do. And I think it's a healthy thing to do because it will create new opportunities. It will help us with the reach, and it will help us with the richness, which I referred to earlier. Drupal being adopted by more and more enterprises. This is the list of things that I see people are struggling with. Configuration management being the #1 thing, code staging being the #2 thing. There's ways to solve it. I think we can make it better even by providing the proper support in core. Content staging and workflows. A lot of people are struggling with that. And content federation is something a lot of organizations also want to see. I think we need to look into ways to fix it, either in core, through contributed modules, whatever it takes, but I think it needs to be fixed, because a lot of the enterprise IT people, they're still, frankly, quite horrified when they start working with Drupal and the fact that it doesn't do what they expect it to do. So here's a quick example. For example, there was a large website. Their IT team did some performance testing on the site so that it could scale really big and so that they were prepared for more traffic. And so they left essentially a site there after it was tuned. And some developer made a small change, turned off the page cache by accident. They didn't notice because they didn't have a peak in traffic, but a week after they had a spike and the site went down because the page cache was turned off. And they had no way, like IT people, operations people, they want to be able to lock down those settings, for example, so that developers can't accidentally, can't make these kind of changes by accident. So there's a lot of features like that people want and need, and that I think we need to think about. I think the ecosystem as a result will look quite different. I think there's going to be thousands of small shops. There's already many. I think there's going to be tens of thousands. I think there will be team marketplaces. I think we have a few today, but if you look at the Joomla world, they don't really make money sort of in the enterprise like a lot of the Drupal shops do. They make money from team marketplaces. And a good example would be a Rocket team. It's a company that has like 30 or 40 employees. They built about, I think, 12 to 15 Joomla teams. And what they do is they sell them, and then they provide support just for the teams. And they have 40 people providing the support. If you sign up for an account, which is quite interesting, you get access to a forum, and they have more than 500,000 forum questions in that forum, just for a bunch of teams. And so I think some of that will also start to happen for Drupal. In fact, when I was in Chicago for CMS Expo, I spoke to a bunch of the Joomla shops there, and that's where they're headed. They're all looking at Drupal. They all are launching teams for Drupal.